What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for the final match day video of the season and your Twitter reactions to Hibs nil, Celtic nil at Easter Road. Before we get in to the video, I just want to say thank you for all of your support this season. It's been a really tough journey this season, but the support of all you watching has been absolutely fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for that. You are what makes the content, and we will keep providing the content for as long as you enjoy watching it. As I say, thank you so much for all of the support. Before we get into the tweets, I have to tell you about our sponsors, OneFootball. The OneFootball app has everything you need. From a football app, you can get lineup notifications as soon as the teams are announced on match days, although there won't be one of them for a couple of months. And you can get pre-match stats for every Celtic game as well. You can get goal alerts from leagues from all around the world. You can keep track of league tables as well. You can add widgets to your home screen to keep up to date with Celtic's next fixture, who it's against, what the kick-off time is, all of that sort of stuff. You can download the app by clicking the link in the description of this video. It's free wherever you get your apps on your phone, and it's a brilliant way for you to support the channel. So if you haven't downloaded it already, please click link below and let me know what you think. We'll start today with John McGatchie. From quadruple treble winners to losing the league by 25 points, board, management and the players should hang their heads in shame. Aye, that's where we are today, the final act of this dreadful season. Again, just something that was a performance that was symptomatic of the whole campaign. To finish 25 points behind just goes to show how much has went wrong this season. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And I said it during the live full-time reaction video there, never has a Celtic season promised so much and delivered so little. This has been brought about by the board and by the management of the team. Poor decisions have been made for 2 or 3 years now. Almost intentional downsizing of the club has brought us to this point. And while we want to move on and we want to get united behind a new manager and a new refreshed Celtic squad this season, we can't just forget about this, because if we forget about it, we're at risk of doing it again. These mistakes that have been made by the club in the last 18-24 months should not be forgotten, because they cannot happen again. Patrick Murphy, that match summed up Kennedy's time as interim manager. Bland, conservative and unimaginative. Over his 10 games, he never really took many risks and just seemed content to maintain the status quo. I hope he can now develop his career away from Celtic. Bring on Eddie Howe. Aye, I think that's a good point. I think today's lineup was bland, it was conservative, there was no imagination to it. I really wanted to see Adam Montgomery start because I thought he'd done enough to justify keeping his place at left back against St Johnstone. And on the right hand side, I expected Forrest to start, but if Forrest didn't start, I fully expected Karamoko Dembele to play on the right hand side, and he didn't. You see again today, so many times this season, we've got Christie on one side, El Yunusi on the other. They both love to come inside the pitch. The fullbacks have got no technical quality at all, so we really lack creation out wide. Hibs packed the middle of the pitch and we can't create anything. That second half was dreadful to watch. It was like watching paint dry at times, and I just wish Dembele was given the chance to start the game, because he is a natural wide player. He can commit defenders, he's got a bit of trickery, he's got pace. And again, he only got 10 minutes, and so did Montgomery. I would just have liked to see something different for John Kennedy, but we haven't got that in his short tenure as interim manager. So why should we have expected it today? G Honeyman, thankfully this season is over. Kennedy wasted an opportunity to bleed youngsters into the team. He obviously reckons he's in with a shout at getting the job, which would be absolutely disastrous for the club. A massive rebuild needed. I've said from day one, after Neil Lennon left, I didn't think John Kennedy was ever in the running for the job. Where we are, the situation that we find ourselves in, needs a manager of a high calibre, the highest level manager that we can find. I think Eddie Howe is that. I think Eddie Howe is the outstanding candidate available to us. And we need someone with that coaching ability to come in and just absolutely recharge the squad and bring things up to a high level again. The fitness, the professionalism, the identity of the team, how it plays, its tactical adaptability, all of that stuff. This team is really lacking in some basic fundamentals, and it's became so lost this season. We know there's going to be a high turnover of players, but we need a top manager to do that. And as I say, I think Eddie Howe can be that. I think he's got all the credentials to be that, and I hope that we get the announcement as soon as possible. Michael McDonald, 3 years ago, a Celtic team missing Dembele and Armstrong, beat Rangers 5-0, going on 10-0 to clinch 7 in a row. We'll finish 25 points behind Rangers today, our lowest tally since John Barnes. This is our worst season since the early 1990s. Howe must be appointed on Monday. That is a perfect summary of how far we've fallen. We've sunk like a stone in the last 12 months, and that is as a direct result of the decisions the club have taken. I don't want to repeat everything that I've been saying week after week this season, but the managerial appointment of Neil Lennon was a massive factor in that, and since then everything has just gradually been downgraded. The professionalism, the fitness levels of the players, as I say, the tactical identity of the team, the ability to handle pressure. We've been playing in empty stadiums all season, but the team have just looked absolutely riddled with pressure, and I think that is as a result of all those decisions that were made. And remember when Brendan Rodgers was here in the second season after the Invincible treble, Peter Lawwell took the opportunity to tell us how much goes into succession planning at boardroom level, and then Brendan Rodgers leaves the club and we appoint Neil Lennon in the showers at Hampden. It beggars belief, and that is why we are where we are, and that's why we cannot forget this. These lessons need to be learned. We cannot make these same mistakes again. If Eddie Howe comes here, excels, and in 2, 3, 4 years goes on to a bigger job, a bigger club, a bigger league, whatever it might be, we need to have his successor lined up and ready to go. We can't revert back to the safe option, the Celtic man, someone who doesn't have the credentials to do the job and take the club forward. We can't go backwards. We can never go backwards again, because that is what we've done here. It can't be allowed to happen again, and that's why we can't forget it. Chris Q, relief this season is over. This should never be allowed to happen again. There you go. As I've just said, sums up probably everyone's sentiments. We can't forget these mistakes. The club need to learn from them, and the only way to do that is to accept that you've made the mistakes, and avoid them in the future. That's what has to happen here. We'll finish today with Jockey Trilson. 3 draws against Hibs sums up our season really. We've dropped points everywhere, no cutting edge, boring to watch. It's Lenny in full effect. Aye, wordplay there to say that John Kennedy's been the same as Neil Lennon, and he has. I thought that we might get some sort of bounce when Neil Lennon left and John Kennedy took over. That hasn't happened. We've continued with the same patterns, the same lineups, the same sort of substitutions, and we've looked like the same lost, defeated team that we looked like in October, November, and all the warning signs were there for the club to go and try and fix that, but they didn't take them, and they took too long to take the action that they did. But we're all here. We want the announcement. We want it to be as soon as possible. We want something to get excited about. We want the rebuild to get underway. We want to unite behind a proper Celtic team again next season, and to do that, the club has to announce Eddie Howe as soon as possible. Assuming that it is Eddie Howe, all of the stories in the media point towards it being him. So they have to make the announcement as soon as possible. This season has been characterised in many ways by inaction at boardroom level and really poor communication. So they've got to get that announcement done as quickly as possible. And as I say, it will give us all something to unite behind, to get excited about, and hopefully we can look forward to watching Celtic again and be back in the stadiums next season. That's it for today, and that's it for this season in terms of matchday videos. Again, thank you for all your support. Like the video, comment with your own thoughts below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you as soon as the announcement is made. Thank you.